In a rare break with President Trump, some Republican lawmakers are now calling for the files of Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking investigation to be released. Joining us now is NBC Washington correspondent Alice Barr. And Alice, this really has the White House fired up here a little bit, and the president lashing out at some of his supporters.
Yeah, this is an unusual moment right now where we're seeing kind of a revolt within the MAGA movement, and it's a rare divide. President Trump has been urging his supporters to move on from the investigation into sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, but now he's blasting some in his base, and that's only drawing attention to what's going on here. In answering reporters' questions just yesterday, he was clearly increasingly frustrated with some of his own supporters, saying that he thinks this is all a big hoax that he claims was perpetuated by Democrats. And he said, quote, "Some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net." He also, in a lengthy post on social media, disavowed supporters that he called weaklings for buying into what he terms BS. But it's important to note that while the president is blaming Democrats, right-wing influencers and even some members of now his own administration have been among the loudest voices perpetuating these conspiracy theories, arguing that they believe Epstein, who was charged and died by suicide in jail during the first Trump term, did not, in fact, kill himself, and that he left an incriminating client list. But just last week, there was this memo that came out from the Justice Department, the FBI, contradicting all of that and saying that they're not going to release any more evidence in this case. That has brought all of the heat on Attorney General Pam Bondi initially, but some of it is now directed squarely at President Trump himself.
Yeah. You spoke about the conspiracy theories in the Justice Department. Have they said anything definitive about why they're choosing not to dig into these documents?
So it's a huge case file that we know contains a lot of very sensitive information related to victims, as well as any potential perpetrators outside of Epstein. So, a lot of people have said you can't just make documentation public that contains the names of underage victims, not just victims, but underage victims, and that there may also be, people included in the files who were never able to be prosecuted, and that the idea of making evidence public that never led to a prosecution is not, standard fare. That's not normally done. So while there could be a whole bunch of names in there, who knows who could be involved in this, they're not. Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, has said that she has only released credible information to this point, and that there's nothing left in there that's credible, that's prosecutable, that then rises to the level of being made public.
Yeah, you got some Congress members trying to get specific questions about this case. What can you tell us about that?
Right. So they've gotten pretty specific with wanting Attorney General Pam Bondi to answer their questions, wanting her to come to Capitol Hill and answer their questions. And one lawmaker is even suggesting that a special counsel should be appointed to investigate the investigation. That's conceivably something President Trump could do to kind of throw a bone to the base that's not backing off of this. And then some Republican lawmakers are also calling on Ghislaine Maxwell to testify. She was Epstein's associate, who was also convicted of sex trafficking and of recruiting underage girls for Epstein to abuse. She is serving a 20-year prison sentence. She is appealing that sentence. And so the idea of her coming to testify on Capitol Hill before Congress, before her appeal plays out, probably unlikely to see that happening right now.
Got it. Alice Barr, thank you so much for joining us, and thanks for your insight.